Chapter 1, Business Driven Technology Overview. So, in Chapter 1, we have what is information technology? What is IT? IT means an area dealing with the applications of technology to the management and processing of data. IT is an important enabler of business success and innovation. However, spending large amount of money on IT does not guarantee automatic success, but it can support the business operations to be successful. After that, we have organizations are usually organized into functional areas. There are four types of organization. First, sales and marketing for advertising promotion. Second, operations and logistics for purchasing, supplying, receiving, and transportations. And third, accounting and finance for planning, budgeting, and costs. And lastly, human resources HR for hiring, training, benefits, and payroll. After that, in Chapter 1, we have Management Information Strategy MIS that related to people, data, software, and hardware. But what is MIS? MIS is a not technology. MIS is a broad term for the business activity and academic disciplines that deals with the use of people, technology, and procedures to solve problems in the workplace. MIS is a business function that's similar to accounting, human resources, finance, and operations. Next, in Chapter 2, Identifying Competitive Advantage. Let's get started. So first of all, what is competitive advantage? Competitive advantage is allow a company to produce goods and services better or more cheaply than its rivals. It is temporary because competitors often seek ways to duplicate competitive advantages. And next, there are three common tools that used in industry to analyze and develop competitive advantages. So first of all, in 5 forces model, there are buyer power, supplier power, threat of substitute products and services, threat of new entrants, rivalry among existing competitors. And in Porter 3 generic strategies, there are broad cost leadership, broad differentiation, focus strategy. And lastly, in value chain, there are support value activities, primary value activities. We continue in Chapter 3, Strategic Initiative for Implementing Competitive Advantages. So there are 4 things in the chapters. First of all, supply chain management involves maximizing overall supply chain effectiveness and profitability by managing knowledge flows between and among stages in the supply chain. So for example, the customers make an order at the store, make a shared order, and the store will search for its supplier, for example, raw materials and other materials related. And next, basic components of SCM. There are 4 basic components: supply chain strategy, supply chain operation, supply chain partner, and supply chain logistic. So next, the second things in this chapter is customers relationship management. CRM is more than just a piece of software. It's a plan, a process, and a business objective that an entire company must accept. So CRM can enable an organization to identify type of customers, design of customers' marketing campaigns, and treat customers as an individuals, and can understand customer buying behavior. And the third one is business process re-engineering. BPR's goal is to make all of the processes best in class, And BPR enables businesses to discover new, more straightforward method of doing business. And lastly, enterprise resources planning. All divisions and functions within a company are integrated into a single IT structure, allowing workers to make decisions based on enterprise-wide data. For example, customers' information such as shipping process, address, and all problems related to the customers will put into one system and every organization can look into it. In Chapter 4, Measuring Success of Strategic Initiatives. In this chapter, metrics are detailed measures that fit KPIs, and there are also two metrics, which is efficiency IT metrics and effectiveness IT metrics. So first, we will go through efficiency IT metrics. These IT metrics are used to measure how well a system IT is doing. Efficiency IT metrics focus on throughput, speed, availability, accuracy, web traffic, and also response time. Second, there are effectiveness IT metrics. Effectiveness IT metrics are a type of metric that measure how IT affects particular aspect of the business environment and a business process. And this effectiveness IT metrics is focused on usability, customer satisfaction, conversion rates, and also financial. And lastly, customer metrics and their significance to a company. Customer metrics are used to evaluate how well a company manages its customers' relationships. And customer loyalty and customer profitability are some of the key measurements that these effectiveness metrics usually concentrate on. So that's all for Chapter 4. And lastly, for Chapter 5, organizational structures that support strategic initiative. So, in this chapter, there are 5 recent IT-related strategic positions, which is Chief Information Officer, Chief Technology Officer, Chief Security Officer, Chief Privacy Officer, and lastly, Chief Knowledge Officer. By looking at their name, we know what they are doing for their job. So first, CIO must have a solid and comprehensive understanding of every aspect of an enterprise, as well as considerable insight into IT capacity and must possess strong business and IT skills. And for CTO, Chief Technology Officer, must ensure that IT throughput, speed, and accuracy, availability, and reliability are all met. And the next one, we're looking through Chief Security Officer that in charge of maintaining the security of information technology systems. And next, CPO that responsible for ensuring that knowledge is used in an ethical and legal manner. And after that, lastly, we have Chief Knowledge Officer, CKO, that have tasked with gathering, preserving, and disseminating the organization information. And the second things in the chapter is the gap between business personnel and IT personnel. Employees in business world have their own vocabularies based on their background and knowledge. And also IT professionals have their own set of acronyms and technical terminology in their vocabularies. So, in order to overcome the gap, the effective contact between business and IT staff should be a two-way street, which each side attempting to learn about more about each other, which means they learn about each other. And the last thing in this chapter is ethic and security. Ethic and security are two fundamental building blocks that organizations must base their business on to be successful. And I think that's all from me. Thank you.